Kill your weakness. You are not where you want to be in life. And deep down, you already know why. It's not the economy. It's not your family. It's not where you grew up or what you didn't have. It's not bad luck or bad timing. It's you. More specifically, it's the part of you that keeps giving in. The part that hits snooze. The part that scrolls for 2 hours when you said 5 minutes. The part that says, "I'll start Monday," every single Sunday night of your life. That part has a name. It's called your weakness. And today, we're going to kill it. Stay with me for this entire video, because by the end, you will not think the same way you did when you pressed play. What I'm about to share with you is not motivation. Motivation fades. This is something older. Something harder. Something the ancient Stoics understood 2,000 years ago that most people alive today have completely forgotten. And if this hits you, if this changes something inside you, I want you to subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. Because this is what we do here. Every single video. We build men and women who refuse to be ordinary. Let's begin. Part 1. The weakness nobody talks about. We live in a world that has made weakness comfortable. We have apps that remind us to drink water because we can't remember to do it ourselves. We have platforms designed by the smartest engineers on the planet with one singular purpose: to keep you distracted, passive, and endlessly consuming. We have food engineered to be so pleasurable that your brain cannot say no. We have entertainment available every second of every day so that you never have to sit alone with your thoughts. And we wonder why so few people achieve anything meaningful. Here is the truth that no one wants to say out loud. The system is not broken. It is working exactly as designed. And it is designed to keep you weak. A weak consumer is a profitable consumer. A person who cannot delay gratification will spend money they don't have on things they don't need to feel a relief they won't keep. A person who cannot focus will click every ad, follow every trend, buy every shortcut. A person who cannot control their emotions will make impulsive decisions that benefit everyone but themselves. Weakness is not just a personal failure. It is an economic product. Now I want you to sit with that for a moment. Because the first step in killing your weakness is understanding that it did not grow entirely on its own. It was cultivated. It was watered. It was made to feel normal, even comfortable, so that you would never think to fight it. But the Stoics fought it. Marcus Aurelius woke before dawn every single morning. Not because he loved mornings. He wrote in his own journals that he was tempted to stay in his warm bed. He was the most powerful man in the known world. He could have done anything he wanted. But he chose to rise. He chose discipline. He chose to fight the pull of comfort every single day, because he understood something profound. The moment you stop fighting your weakness starts fighting you. Part 2. What weakness actually looks like. People think weakness looks like cowardice on a battlefield. It doesn't. Modern weakness is subtle. It is quiet. It hides in your daily routine, wearing the mask of self-care and rest and "I deserve this." Let me describe it to you. Weakness looks like checking your phone before your feet hit the floor in the morning. It looks like avoiding a difficult conversation for the 3rd week in a row. It looks like telling yourself you'll go to the gym tomorrow, again. It looks like eating garbage because you're stressed, drinking to cope, watching hours of content instead of building something of your own. Weakness looks like knowing exactly what you should do, and consistently choosing not to do it. That gap, the gap between what you know and what you do, that is where weakness lives. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who was born a slave and died one of the most respected thinkers in Rome, had a radical idea. He said that you cannot control what happens to you. You cannot control other people, circumstances, outcomes, the economy, your past, or your body's eventual death. But you can, always, control your response. That is your one freedom. Your response. And weakness is simply the habit of responding poorly. Every time you give in to the snooze button, you are practicing giving in. Every time you eat the thing you said you wouldn't eat, you are rehearsing failure. Every time you avoid the hard conversation, you are training yourself to retreat. You are, right now, becoming the person you will be in 5 years. Every choice is a rep, every habit is a brick. You are building something, either a fortress or a prison, and you are the architect. The question is, which one are you building? Part 3. The Stoic War Against the Self. The Stoics had a concept they called ascesis. It means practice, discipline, deliberate training of the self. But their version of self-improvement was not what we sell today. There were no 30-day challenges with prizes at the end. There were no accountability partners and motivational podcasts. There was only one practice. Deliberately choose the harder thing. Cato the Younger, one of the most famous Stoics in Roman history, would walk barefoot on hot cobblestones in summer. Not because it was healthy. Not because it built calluses. But because it trained his mind to endure discomfort without complaint. He would wear thin clothing in winter. Not because he couldn't afford better. He was wealthy. He wore thin clothing so that his body would never forget what cold felt like, and so that his will would remain stronger than his comfort. He would fast regularly. Not for health benefits. To practice saying no to hunger. To prove to himself, repeatedly, that his desire did not control him. He controlled his desire. This is radical to us today. We live in a world that tells you to honor every craving. Listen to your body. You deserve to feel good. Rest when you're tired. Eat what you want. Do what feels right. And I am not saying rest has no value. Rest is essential. Recovery is real. But there is a massive difference between strategic rest and chronic surrender. The Stoics trained discomfort the way athletes train muscle. They understood that every time you choose discomfort voluntarily, every time you decide to be cold, to be hungry, to work when you don't feel like it, to wake up before the sun, you are making a deposit into an account called resilience. And when life inevitably brings you pain you did not choose, and it will, that account is what you draw from. People who have never practiced voluntary hardship are completely unprepared for involuntary hardship. They collapse at the first obstacle. They crumble under pressure. They quit when things get difficult. And then they blame everything except the real cause. They never built the muscle. Part 4. The 3 Faces of Weakness. I want to break down weakness into 3 categories, because they each require a different response. The first is physical weakness. This is the most visible and, in many ways, the easiest to address, yet most people never do. Physical weakness is the body that cannot perform when called upon. It is the person who gets winded climbing 2 flights of stairs. The person who cannot carry their own groceries. The person who is uncomfortable in their own body but keeps finding reasons not to change it. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about the body. He understood that the mind and body are not separate. A weak body produces cloudy thinking, low energy, emotional instability, and reduced willpower. Every study in modern neuroscience confirms what the Stoics intuited 2 millennia ago. How you treat your body determines the quality of your mind. Your assignment here is simple. Not easy, simple. Move every day. Lift heavy things. Run. Do hard physical things regularly. Not because you're preparing for a race. Because you are training your body to be a vehicle worthy of the life you want to live. The second face of weakness is mental weakness. This is harder to see because it lives inside you. Mental weakness is the inability to focus. The inability to sit with discomfort. The inability to delay gratification. It is the constant need for stimulation, validation, entertainment. It is the mind that cannot be alone with itself for 10 minutes without reaching for a phone. The Stoics practiced what they called prosoc, attention to the self. Daily, deliberate, honest self-examination. Not navel-gazing. Not journaling about your feelings. Hard, honest accounting. Did I act with virtue today? Did I give in where I should have held? Did my actions match my values? This practice, done daily, builds what modern psychology calls metacognition. The ability to observe your own thinking. And once you can observe a thought, you can choose not to obey it. That is one of the most powerful skills a human being can develop. The third face of weakness is emotional weakness. And this is the most dangerous of all. Emotional weakness is not the same as feeling emotions. Emotions are human. They are information. They are not weakness. Emotional weakness is being controlled by your emotions. It is making decisions in anger that you regret when calm. It is avoiding hard work because you're afraid of failure. It is staying in situations that are killing you slowly because leaving feels too scary. It is seeking approval so desperately that you abandon your own values to get it. Seneca wrote, "Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power." That is the whole game. Self-mastery. The man or woman who commands themselves commands everything else. When you are ruled by fear, you are a prisoner. When you are ruled by anger, you are a weapon pointed at yourself. When you are ruled by the need for approval, you are a puppet. But when you rule yourself, when your reason governs your reaction, you are free. Truly free. In a way that no amount of money, status, or success can give you. Part 5: The Daily War. Here is what no one who sells you self-improvement wants you to know. This never gets easy. The great men and women throughout history, the ones we still study and revere thousands of years later, did not reach a point where discipline was effortless. They did not wake up one morning with no temptations, no desire for comfort, no pull toward the easy path. They woke up with those things every day. They just chose to fight every day. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, one of the most powerful and accomplished humans in recorded history, wrote to himself in private journals that we now call meditations. And those journals reveal a man in constant struggle. A man fighting laziness, self-pity, the desire for praise, the temptation to coast. He was not a finished product. He was a man at war with himself. And that is the secret. You do not kill your weakness once. You kill it every morning when the alarm goes off. You kill it every afternoon when your focus drifts, and you pull it back. You kill it every evening when you choose to prepare for tomorrow instead of numbing yourself into unconsciousness. The war never ends. But over time, something extraordinary happens. You start winning more than you lose. And the victories accumulate. And one day you look back at who you used to be, the person who couldn't wake up on time, couldn't stick to a commitment, couldn't look themselves in the mirror without turning away, and you realize that person is gone. You killed them. Not with one dramatic moment of transformation. With 1,000 small battles, one at a time, in the privacy of your own daily choices. Part 6: Building the Warrior Mind. So how do we build it practically? Let me give you the architecture. First, control your mornings. The first hour of your day is the most important. It sets the neurological and psychological tone for everything that follows. If you begin your morning with surrender, hitting snooze, lying in bed scrolling, drifting into the day without intention, you have already lost the first battle. And battles compound. The Stoics began their mornings with what Aurelius called the morning meditation. A deliberate, quiet review of the day ahead. Acknowledge that the day will bring difficulty. Remind yourself of your values. Set your intention. You do not have to meditate in the classical sense. But you must begin your day with intention rather than reaction. Wake up. Do not touch your phone for the first 30 minutes. Move your body. Think about who you intend to be today. That is the foundation. Second, embrace voluntary hardship. Every week, choose at least one thing that is hard and do it deliberately. Take a cold shower. Fast for a day. Wake up an hour earlier than you need to. Do the workout when every cell in your body says rest. Finish the project on the day you plan to, not the day it feels comfortable. This is not self-punishment. This is training. You are conditioning your nervous system to associate discomfort with identity rather than alarm. Over time, when life brings you hard things, and it will, your first response will not be retreat. It will be recognition. I have been here before. I have done hard things. I can do this. Third, eliminate one escape. Pick one thing you use to escape when life feels hard. Social media. Television. Alcohol. Junk food. Pornography. Gambling. Whatever it is for you, Pick one and remove it entirely for 30 days. Not because that thing will destroy you necessarily, but because the act of removing it will show you who is in charge. If you cannot remove one comfort voluntarily, then that comfort owns you. And anything that owns you is a form of weakness. Fourth, do what you said you would do. This sounds embarrassingly simple. And yet, how many people live in consistent contradiction between their words and their actions? You said you'd call? You didn't. You said you'd start. You didn't. You said you'd stop. You didn't. Every broken promise to yourself is a withdrawal from your self-respect account. And when that account hits zero, you lose faith in your own word. And when you lose faith in your own word, you lose the ability to build the life you say you want. Start small if you need to. Make one commitment this week and keep it. Then 2. Then 10. Build the identity of someone who does what they say. That is a person who cannot be stopped. Fifth, audit your circle. Seneca wrote, "Tell me who you walk with, and I will tell you who you are." The people around you are not neutral. They are either pulling you toward discipline, excellence, and growth, or they are normalizing weakness, mediocrity, and excuse-making. This does not mean you abandon everyone who isn't perfect. But it means you are ruthlessly honest about whose influence is shaping your ceiling. Find the person in your life who is doing the hardest things, asking the biggest questions, and holding themselves to the highest standards. Spend more time there. Part 7. The Cost of Staying Weak. I want to say something directly now. Most people watching this video will feel inspired for a few hours. They will feel the fire. They will tell themselves this time is different. And then tomorrow, when the alarm goes off, when the day gets hard, when the comfortable option appears, they will go back to exactly who they were. Not because they are bad people. Not because they don't want better. But because the pull of the familiar is the strongest force in human psychology. And I need you to understand what the cost of that is. Not today. Today is fine. Today the weakness is manageable. But 5 years from now? 5 years of choosing comfort over growth. 5 years of scrolling instead of building. 5 years of snooze buttons and broken commitments and avoided conversations. 5 years of staying exactly where you are while the world moves forward. 5 years from now you will be further behind. More frustrated. Older. And the gap between who you are and who you could have been will be so wide that some part of you will quietly stop believing it can be closed. That is the real cost of weakness. Not one bad day. A compounding life of quiet diminishment. The Stoics had a practice called memento mori. Remember that you will die. Not as morbid philosophy but as motivational clarity. You have a limited number of mornings. A limited number of chances to choose differently. A limited number of days to build something worth leaving behind. You are spending them right now. The only question is how. Part 8. The Identity Shift. Everything I've said so far is tactics. Useful tactics. But tactics without an identity shift will always fade. The deepest work is this. You must change the story you tell yourself about who you are. Right now, whether you are conscious of it or not, you have a self-concept. A story about your capabilities, your discipline, your worth, your potential. And every behavior you have is consistent with that story. If your story is, "I'm someone who struggles with motivation," you will struggle with motivation. If your story is, "I've always been like this," you will always be like this. If your story is, "I'm not the kind of person who wakes up early / finishes things / follows through," then you won't. The Stoics believed character is not fixed. It is built. It is chosen. It is the accumulated result of 10,000 daily decisions. You can decide today that you are someone who does the hard thing. Not because you feel like it, because it's who you are. That is a different kind of motivation. It is not emotional fuel that burns out. It is identity. And identity is durable. When you are tired, emotion says stop. Identity says this is what I do. When you fail, and you will, emotion says see, I knew it. Identity says I failed. I learn. I continue. This is what I do. Build the identity first. The behaviors follow. You are still here. That matters. Most people click away. Most people are looking for 3-minute motivation they can forget by lunch. You stayed for the whole thing. That tells me something about you. You want something real. So let me be real with you. This is going to be hard. Not hard in a fun challenge way. Actually hard. The kind of hard where you lose sleep, where you disappoint the version of yourself that wanted an easier path, where you face things about yourself that you would rather not see. But on the other side of that hard? A version of you that you cannot currently imagine. Stronger. Clearer. More capable. More at peace. Not because life got easier, because you got harder. That is what this channel is about. Every video we put out here is designed for one thing: to build the kind of person who cannot be broken by ordinary life. Who meets difficulty with stillness. Who keeps their word. Who grows through pain instead of hiding from it. If that is what you are here for, subscribe right now. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because we are building something here. A community of people who have decided that weakness is not their identity. That comfort is not their ceiling. That the person they were yesterday is not the person they have to be tomorrow. We are killing weakness together. One video at a time. I will see you in the next one.